experiences that are the same type in the same room? How are we using the space intelligently rather than just using the space because we have it? Sure.
Yeah, these are all the components for the final version. It's not going to be cardboard like this. I need to laser cut it. And because it's a story, the narrative needs to work. So it's kind of all those things together. It's just a lot to think about.
Put it over your head so it's in the middle. I just come across personal EEG headsets and then something clicked. Meditation, basically, you stop
Calms it down?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit hit and miss because I'm going to have to program in certain criteria for those markers to activate and not activate.
I'll hide this under the wood and then I'll build like a stone circle around it so it's like an actual fire pit. So it's a generative storytelling game. This is based off of a game that I used to play with my dad when I was a kid. You've got this ability to create thousands of different possible scenarios. So trying to make sure that those are interesting so that every time when you play something, you do get something that's genuinely different is difficult.
I moved here to really focus on writing specifically for games. I love games, they're my medium. I really want to do something with that. If you guys have ever heard of something like Dungeons & Dragons, so I really like those types of games, and I decided, you know what would be fun is if the players would all roleplay that they're effectively part of a Disney film. So they're bursting into song and dance routines at the drop of a hat.
And just lighting and pyrotechnics. Basically, if you can come up with a way why your song is exploding or like...
So much of it just takes place in imagination. So if you have a creative group of players, you can really have them do whatever and have a really fun time. These kinds of games, you basically need to iterate on the testing all the time. You need to playtest, playtest, playtest. We all like a lot of different games, but there's a bunch of overlap and we all know what a good indie game is when we see it.
Is it okay if we start with you? Do mine as a presentation. Go to Alex, who's about 10 minutes, and then finish off with you guys. Is that all right?
You do a survey, and then you play the game until you die, and then you get another survey just to wrap things up. I like games just as systems for people to interact with. So you can explore a lot of systemic issues through games by defining a rule set and getting players to play them out. Evolyte is a game where you mine Bitcoin at the end of the world. Bitcoin energy usage has driven the Earth to environmental collapse. The player then still has to continue mining Bitcoin in order to be able to afford to keep going.
Like, food is expensive now.
Really knows how these games work.
What is in that burger?
There was 4 months of research and reading and trying to get the mechanics right so that it would do the topics some justice.
I wanted more of the technical support guy.
Yeah.
I realize it's an early version, but the more of that you put in there, just sort of like having him periodically come up and say something would be really cool.
Let's begin by seeing if you can stop the eruption by breath meditation. Or stop.
My game is an audio-visual neurofeedback game, so I'm trying to get it so that depending on your mood changes, it will change the chord progressions of the soundscape. It's been very tricky. I'm using machine learning to try and collect a bunch of data of different people, of their mental states. Whether that collection of data actually works, that's kind of the main part I'm trying to get to.
It should sort of be able to be easier to turn on and leave it turning on because then it starts to generate.
So we've got Ben's project. So he's got Beatboxer. That's sort of a rhythm game where you're punching to the beat. I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Pong, but it's like Pang! Like, yeah, anyway. Where you've got a bunch of people playing around in a circle. So we're gonna have this room here as sort of like a social area, kind of like arcadey feel there as well. I am testing the setup that I've got for this fire effect that I've been building for the past couple of months. It's come a long way since the light on top of a plastic shoebox. I've now got heat. When you breathe into it, it's like starting a fire. I miss being, I've got 2 brothers, and like that experience of being able to play together sort of like communally in the same space is something that I've always really enjoyed, and I think to some degree it's not quite as prominent as it used to be. And there are reasons for that, but there are also things that are coming back that are changing that. And if I can be a part of that somehow, I would love to.
I was just trying to figure out why.
That's recent. That's recent.
Yeah, why you could jump forever. We're making a game called Chronofold. It's a first-person puzzle game, and we've got this rewind mechanic where the player can record their actions and rewind back time, and these actions will keep playing on and on and on. There's two other people in my team, Edja and Doruk. They're both artists. How long have you been working on it for now?
1 year, I guess.
Yeah.
When we first started this project, it was more of a game that focuses on gunplay, and it was like a first-person shooter. But the rewinding mechanic was kind of hard to explain in that context. When people were playing puzzle games, they come in with a different mindset. They want to learn a new mechanic.
Head into the lounge. The courier is on the way.
The player is able to open doors from those consoles, but also by checking mails, like there are some story elements in it.
It's like your first day on this new position.
You're like a product tester in this company, so that's your job, testing products.
And things happen when the time comes as well. Not at this level. Seeing it fail and then getting really sad and then making it and seeing it fail and then doing it again and again, and then eventually it works and you're just really happy because you've delivered like happiness to this person. It's nice. I think that core motive is the same for every person who makes games or any sort of experience.
Calibration test 2, time to flip extension 1. Woohoo! Yeah, so someone is trying to send you a private message, and that's where the infrared comes in. You are an employee at this company who works with these servers, and they're all Western themed because it's in a former ghost town in the middle of the Southwestern United States, and your server is called Lone Ranger. You're supposed to help Lone Ranger calibrate some things and essentially help this server spy on someone. So that's one path that you can choose. Kind of figuring out how to instruct people to use this thing has been a bit of a challenge, and also infrared is still, I mean, I can contain it as much as I want, but it still manages to pour out somehow. So I've sort of had to implement that unpredictability into the narrative.
I made a major overhaul to the way that the online game mechanics work. So hopefully what I've cooked up now is a way for people to get a cool story together while playing with music, while actually being motivated to use the cards in play and actually understanding what's going on. But we will find out shortly.
Does everybody feel okay?
Yeah, in terms of the game, it's okay. I just need to build it again with some bugs.
It works, I just need to make a few code changes, but that's mostly just to make me happy.
We're all ready to go. I haven't done this in a really long time. But yes. Woo! All right. What do you guys want to say? Games? You got this.
My research just took me into a rabbit hole. It's kind of opened my mind up a little bit with this technology. As you can see from my eyes and the way I'm speaking right now, I'm absolutely exhausted, but it's worth it.
That's fine, because you have harmony points. It's a special effects in here. Het was lyric. Just the way that you're feeling.
After a few attempts trying to get the game in a way so that it delivers its message, it has started to hit home with people, which is nice.
Welcome to my corner of the Blitz Monster. It's this thing that we've been really working really hard towards, like, you know, not just over the summer, but, you know, through the entire year. I feel like I was part of something really special, and I'm gonna miss it. So, yeah.